Modern Warfare Zombies has fully been revealed and everyone has lost their minds. So, is Modern Warfare Zombies really going to be that bad? Let's find out on the 5th episode of the Mystery Box Podcast. Good morning, beautiful people, and welcome to the 5th episode of the Mystery Box Podcast. Yes, Modern Warfare Zombies has fully been revealed and there is a lot of stuff to talk about. I was watching this reveal event at COD Next and I had a pretty lukewarm reception to it. I was kind of intrigued. I was a little bit more intrigued and I thought it wasn't that bad, but then I hopped on Twitter and Reddit, probably stuff I shouldn't do, and oh my goodness, people were losing their minds. People have this intense, visceral, negative reaction towards this for a lot of reasons, and even in the videos, the 2 videos I've made from it, I wouldn't say that I've been positive towards the game. I've definitely had my concerns expressed in those videos, but I've pointed out things like, oh man, that could be cool, or oh man, this wonder weapon looks awesome, and even just doing that, I've gotten some, probably the most intense comments on my videos talking about how, oh my goodness, how can you accept this? Oh my goodness, this is the worst thing ever for zombies. And yes, it's the first week since we've gotten the full-fledged gameplay and all this stuff that we've seen, and I think we're being really emotional and really reactive right now. So here on this channel, I always try to do my best to think about things rationally and calmly in a normal, common sense type of way, so that's what this podcast is hopefully going to be. Let's talk about the facts and the stuff that we absolutely know for a fact, and try to avoid any personal or emotional attacking on people. So the biggest question is, why are people worried about this mode? And to put it out there, be honest, yes, I am also worried about this mode as well. A lot of people's worries comes from Vanguard Zombies, and this is a very fair and valid worry to have because it's not unlike the Vanguard situation that we had a couple years ago, where this is a Sledgehammer title, and with zombies created by Treyarch, hey, looks like this could be just Vanguard 2.0. I've heard a lot of people say that this is gonna be Vanguard 2.0, or this is Vanguard 2.0, and because of that history, that's why they're saying that. However, after looking at the gameplay, after looking at the trailer and the actual gameplay and the developers talking about it, this looks nothing like Vanguard Zombies. This looks like it has absolutely nothing to do with Vanguard Zombies. And actually looking at the gameplay and actually dissecting it, to go check out that 30-minute video I did dissecting the gameplay if you haven't already. But there are so many more things to do in Modern Warfare Zombies than Vanguard even has after its development cycle. All of the contracts, the missions, the faction missions, the challenges, and the core gameplay itself. It has a pack-a-punch camo, it has a ray gun, a completely unique wonder weapon, big new boss zombie, and you know, returning old Cold War zombies as well. The quantity of content we are getting is so much more, 5-10 times more than we got in Vanguard. Now, that's not me being super positive, that's just me laying out facts. This is not going to be, and it doesn't feel, well, I guess I shouldn't say that it's not going to be, but this doesn't feel like a mode that was just slapped together like Vanguard Zombies was, because we know Vanguard Zombies was actually slapped together. That had 4 or 5 months of development, but it's been a year plus, maybe 2 years once this game is fully released, since the release of Vanguard. It's been 3 years since the launch of Cold War, so there's a lot of time and energy and effort that I would like or hope to see in this mode, and I feel it already. This feels like this mode has purpose, and that's something that Vanguard completely missed. As much as Vanguard's ideas and concepts might have been okay, the execution, the purpose of playing that War of the Dead style Vanguard Zombies maps, it just didn't feel like it was there. But having this DMZ DNA within this Outbreak type of shell, it feels like I can come up with reasons to play this mode without even having to play this mode, just conceptually. So I don't think the Vanguard comparison holds much water when you actually look at the gameplay and what has been confirmed. And the next biggest thing, obviously everybody's upset, this is not round-based zombies. And this is a difficult topic to consider because yes, round-based zombies, even in my opinion, as someone who's generally positive about zombies and whatnot, round-based is just the bread and butter. Round-based is the 6v6 of Call of Duty zombies. It's so much better than you can even describe. I'm working on a video, I'm writing the script as we speak, talking about how much goes into round-based and how beautiful it can be, in the characters and the Easter eggs and the high rounds and the gameplay and the pack-a-punch quest and the side quests. There is so much to love about round-based zombies. It's not a question why people want that style of zombies so aggressively and so passionately. But with all of that being said, and I've always said this, if it were up to me, I would not have Vanguard Zombies have been released. I would have preferred Vanguard Zombies not to exist, and personally, I would have preferred Modern Warfare to not have zombies whatsoever. And the reason that is not because, oh man, I hate Outbreak, or oh my goodness, I hate them experimenting. It's because I understand how much work and refinement goes into the round-based maps. I think it's unreasonable to ask Treyarch to make round-based maps every single year. I don't think that's feasible to the quality that we're used to from, I mean, even Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3 especially, and Black Ops 4 especially, level of maps. Those take years and years of development time to get just right. So, Donuts, if you're all high and mighty, what about Sledgehammer? What about Infinity Ward? Why don't they make round-based zombies? And that's an excellent question. I think for Infinity Ward, they're busy making Warzone and DMZ and all of these other quests or modes and side stuff as well. So I think that's the easy answer there for Infinity Ward. But for Sledgehammer, I don't know. It feels like some shady stuff is going on in Sledgehammer. It feels like ever since, Michael Condrey and Glenn Schofield left, they felt like they don't have a chief. They don't have a direction that they're going there. Picking up they couldn't handle Cold War. They shambled together some Vanguard. And now they're here picking up the remnants of Modern Warfare 2's second year cycle, supposedly, and creating a unique Call of Duty in Modern Warfare 3. But in order to truly understand Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, I think we need to talk about Modern Warfare 3 as a whole. Looking at what content is unique to Modern Warfare 3, we have bits of a campaign, but then we have a new Warzone map. Now, this Warzone map is supposedly rumored to have been the second Warzone map for Modern Warfare 2, Las Almas, but they've repurposed it, rebranded it from Mexico to the Middle East somewhere, Urzikstan, I think that's that fictional country that Modern Warfare takes place in, and it's the same layout, but they've just kind of changed it up a little bit to fit it within Modern Warfare 3. But if you've looked at anything Modern Warfare 3, the campaign has these things called open world missions or open combat missions, which take place on this new Warzone map. Zombies takes place on this new Warzone map. Multiplayer is all remakes of Modern Warfare 2 maps, which was rumored to come out in year 2. There's no unique 6v6 maps. And then the new Ground War and the new War game mode, takes place on this new Warzone map. So when looking at Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, or Modern Warfare 3 as a whole, it feels like this really should have just been a DLC. I mean, $70, you're getting a new Warzone map that you can play on the campaign, zombies, or multiplayer side of it. That's your only bit of new content. It feels so weird. This is such a weird spot for the Call of Duty culture and community right now. And zombies, the fact that we're getting zombies on this Warzone map, I don't think it says that much about zombies. I think it says more about Call of Duty as a whole rather than just zombies. So the reason that this isn't round-based, the reason that Sledgehammer isn't making round-based, I think it's because they're in disarray. They have to have something, and Outbreak was just a compromise, or whatever we're going to call this mode was just a compromise. Now, I don't think this is good for Call of Duty as a whole. I don't think that's good to, have these deadlines. We've talked about that Call of Duty 1 year cycle for a very long time now, giving these developers a break to develop the games they actually want to develop and spend the time to actually do it. So I absolutely believe that it not being round-based is perfectly fine, but this feeling from Activision or whoever to release a premium Call of Duty title every year just feels like it's cheapening every aspect of Call of Duty, not just zombies. But this negativity could be looked at from a positive-ish perspective, because that means that they are not giving us their bread and butter. They're not giving us the main course here. This Outbreak style, this Modern Warfare Zombies, is just an appetizer. This is just the side thing to the main course that we're gonna get in 2024. And if they're going to release anything short or with fewer development, I think the best thing to do is I would rather have an underdeveloped Outbreak mode than an underdeveloped round-based map. Because if an underdeveloped round-based map comes in, there's only so much you could do to update it, to change it, to do whatever. But Outbreak, as we've seen with Outbreak 1.0, you can add so many things to Outbreak. It is a really great, platform. Outbreak is a phenomenal platform to add boss zombies, wonder weapons, extra side quests, Easter eggs, main quests. It is an excellent platform to continue getting new zombie content. And this is one of the best things about Outbreak, is the fact that it is so updatable and you can change things. Outbreak right now in Cold War is a very, very different game than it was when it launched. Even if it might be underdeveloped or there's not a lot of stuff, kind of like how DMZ launched, at the end of the life cycle, this could be a really awesome mode to pair with the excellent round-based stuff that they've now been allowed to work on for 4 years. Codename Pizza has also said on his live stream of the next event that they are working on some type of round-based experience. Now, I don't know, that could be Onslaught, that could be survival maps, and so long as it's not Treyarch and it's not taking any development time away from 2024's round-based experience, I'm fine with that. I'm not anti-round-based. I love round-based, but I just understand how much time and effort goes into round-based, and I don't want to cheapen that experience, because that's I believe, at least a little bit of what we got in Cold War. Cold War is awesome, but the maps themselves got a little bit cheapened because of the rushed development. And I don't want to see that happen here with Modern Warfare 3. Now, I also understand this sort of hesitation because of, this isn't zombies and, oh my goodness, this is not what we want as a zombies community, because I'm a big 6v6 fan, and seeing what has been going on with 6v6 has been really disappointing, has been really sad, and I would hate to have zombies and round-based zombies experience the same thing that 6v6 has. But the things that give me hope was the fact that the last Treyarch official game had round-based zombies. Cold War was the last official Treyarch game, and it focused on round-based zombies. And then Vanguard, where it wasn't Treyarch's main team working on it, stopped development to work on round-based maps. They understand, they're not stupid, they hear us, they understand what we want, and Treyarch does a phenomenal job at listening to what we want. There are, and again, this is a potential video I could make, there are so many times, with the Black Ops 4 point system, Black Ops 4 perk system, the Cold War the Vanguard, round-based stuff. They tried multiple times to listen to the community and give us what we wanted. They had that Void objective, that didn't work, so they made Sheen and Numa round-based, and then the Archon round-based. There's just, I could go on, but there's a lot of things that Treyarch actually does to actually listen to us. And there's that infamous tweet by Kevin Drew saying it would be horrible if Forsaken was the last round-based map. That's not official confirmation, but if the leader of Zombies or one of the main directors of Zombies says, hey, round-based is awesome, it probably means they want to develop more round-based maps, and I'd love for that to happen just next year. Just give us the appetizer now, main course later. And I want to challenge you to this. Why can't we have this, Outbreak, DMZ, Zombies, whatever, why can't we have this and round-based next year? Why can't this be a really fully developed mode for this year? It's a side thing. You like it, you don't like it, whatever. But next year, we get the round-based and the continue developing this DMZ Zombies, Modern Warfare Zombies. Why can't we have both? That would be awesome. The only thing I ask is that don't let it affect 2024's development time. And so even though it's not round-based, even though I love round-based, want round-based, I also appreciate the potential for what this mode has to offer us. And I think we need to be self-reflective here and ask ourselves, what do we expect from non-Treyarch zombie games? What do we expect from Sledgehammer's game with Treyarch zombies? Because I personally never expect their, sequel to Cold War to come in and Modern Warfare Zombies worked on by Sledgehammer. That just doesn't make sense. Of course they're going to do it in Gulf War or whatever their next game is going to be. Of course they're going to do it in their mainline entry, because why would they make content that's amazing content that's based on their games for someone else's game? It just doesn't make any sense. Of course, Activision, whoever putting him in that situation, not great, but with the knowledge of that it's Sledgehammer's game, I do not expect this next biggest and baddest amazing zombie title. No, I expect that in Treyarch's game. This is what we went through in the 2010s or whatever between Infinite Warfare, Advanced Warfare, and World War II Zombies. We expected something different. We hoped that it was good as Treyarch, and some people thought it was, some people thought it wasn't. But when Black Ops 4 was coming out, it was like, all right, that was a fun little detour. That was a fun little thing to see what the other developers were doing. But Black Ops 4, here's where Treyarch is going to come back and do all their thing. And in my opinion, they really hit it out of the park with Black Ops 4, but I'm in the minority on that, I know. But really look inwards and see what you expect from non-Treyarch zombie games, because I think a lot of people's emotional and mental block is by that expectation. Whether that's fair, whether it's not fair, who knows? That's kind of the reality we're living in. Because looking at Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, I don't expect round-based, I expect a mix between DMZ and Outbreak, because that's exactly what they've said it's going to be. It's going to be an extraction shooter with Outbreak little side quests and Easter eggs. So that's pretty cool. And however that makes you feel, that's kind of how I imagine you're going to feel about this game mode. I said it on one of the previous podcasts, saying that I expect this mode to be better than DMZ for me personally, but maybe not as good as Outbreak. However, after seeing the gameplay and watching the trailer and listening to all that stuff, this might be better than Outbreak for me personally, which is kind of exciting for me because Outbreak isn't terrible. It's not something that I play all the time. It's not something I look forward to, but a little bit of DMZ mixed with Outbreak could really change that. And let me tell you why. What was good about Outbreak? What did you like about Outbreak? Me personally, as strange as it sounds, I liked the objectives. I liked the actual things that you could do within the game. I liked doing the Aether Crystal little side quest to increase your weapon's rarity. I liked the escort step. I loved that brand new truck step where you had to go from place to place, capture the Ethereum in those little vials and defend your truck and then drive to the next location and then drive and then deposit your canisters in the rocket. That's probably, I might do a video on that because that's like the best Outbreak quest ever, incorporating all these aspects. I absolutely love that. I love chaining together those side objectives for rewards. I love doing the eliminate objective to get a perk. I love doing the crystal objective to rank up your thing. I love doing the black chest event to get a pack a punched gun. I absolutely loved how many things there were. And I loved, you guys know me, I loved the ORDA. And overall, I liked the spectacle that Outbreak had. Outbreak has a lot more spectacle than I give it credit for. The ORDA, the dragon thing, the rockets flying up to the sky, the holdout objective, teleporting you here and there. It feels massive. It feels like you're a bigger part of a bigger world. And I like that quite a bit. And I think one of the most underrated things about Outbreak are the two main objectives. Those two main quests, those two main Easter eggs really feel awesome. Like, spawning in, and I recently did a video on this with Austin, a replay mode, if you'll link in the description. This is a really interesting way to experience an Easter egg. You know, when you're playing a regular zombies round-based map, the Easter egg is kind of really tied into the map. But when it's Outbreak and it's mission-based or objective-based, and then all of a sudden you get this really cool cinematic style of Easter egg, like the first main quest or the second main quest, where you literally leave the whole containment thing of the Outbreak map, it kind of amps up that spectacle, and it feels like zombies. It feels like that special, oh my goodness, this is completely different, this is hidden in the world, and I absolutely loved that about Outbreak. And from what we can gather, it looks like those things are mostly going to be intact in Modern Warfare Zombies, with the exception of the main quest Easter egg type thing. The contracts really replace the main objectives, and you can string those together. Hopefully they give good unique rewards that we can get and really make meaningful changes within the game itself, getting you extra points or perks or wonder weapons or something like that. The spectacle already looks great with that mega abomination, with the giant worm, with the storm coming in and all that stuff. That spectacle, because it's on that huge Warzone map, feels a little bit bigger, and I really think that could be a positive about Modern Warfare Zombies. So what was bad about Outbreak? What didn't we like about Outbreak? And I feel like the criticisms were more or less universal. First and foremost, lack of hordes of zombies. This was my biggest complaint. This is everybody's biggest complaint. They're having 4 to 10 zombies at a time. This was a Vanguard as well in their little War of the Dead round-based or objective-based thing. We want hordes of zombies. We love training. We love getting hordes of zombies together and just killing hordes of zombies. And the trailer and the gameplay really seemed to focus on hordes of zombies. Like, if you see my breakdown, again, there are shots where it's just hordes of zombies. The gameplay starts where there's hordes of zombies getting taken out by PhDs, jumps from the sky, jumps from the ceiling. I missed that in my breakdown, but you can see somebody dolphin dive off a building and just huge PhD explosion kill like a big chunk of zombies. And it's really edited, which is why I'm hesitant to say that, oh my goodness, this looks better. But it looks like they are trying to get as many zombies in there as possible. And from the general gameplay we did see, it looks like there's a decent amount of zombies. We'll need to get our hands on it to really understand and get a good feel for it. But it looks like they're focusing, at least marketing, this mode by having a lot more zombies. Now, the next biggest thing about Outbreak that nobody liked, myself included, was the fact that it lacked that zombie feel, that zombie atmosphere. The maps themselves weren't really zombified. And looking at Modern Warfare Zombies, I have to say the atmosphere looks incredible. It looks so beautiful. The purple of the storm, the clouds coming in, the orange of the tier 3 or threat level 3 area feels like zombies. But yet people still have the argument that it doesn't feel like zombies. And I kind of agree with them, but why is that? Well, I think I found the word to use instead of atmosphere, because I think Modern Warfare Zombies has an excellent atmosphere, at least from the trailers and the look of it, but it's missing something. It's missing purposeful environmental storytelling. As an example, here in this bathroom, gym, locker, whatever, we have these aether crystals and rune stones. Now, that's really cool. It's an excellent art style, and it's zombies, but the bathroom itself isn't zombified. It may have a good atmosphere, it may be cool, but these environments, these buildings, don't tell a story. It doesn't feel like zombies are actually attacking here. It feels like the Warzone map with zombies in it. Even with a great atmosphere, even though it feels like a zombie map could feel, the actual literal details of the map don't have the dead bodies, and you can't really investigate, oh my goodness, what happened in this room? Who was here? You know, in Mauer Toten, you have the Klaus room, where you get the Klaus hands, where you have the dead guy with the robot hands around his neck, and the safe with the thing. You know, that feels zombies, because that's telling a story within the environment itself. And Warzone and Outbreak don't have that. And it would be a huge feat of artistry and engineering and development to make that happen for every single room and every single thing on the map of that Warzone map. So that's a very valid criticism that I don't think is feasible to fix in such a short amount of time unless they're developing a whole map just for DMZ Zombies or Modern Warfare Zombies. And like it or not, the atmosphere looks good, but the environmental storytelling, I don't quite know how to fix that other than just brute force doing it. And the last thing I didn't like about Outbreak was the pacing. I felt like the pacing was so terrible. And this is something that Austin actually picked up in one of our games of Outbreak here. He said, hey, this is really fun, but the worst part about it is going to this anomaly and having to switch rounds. Like it stops your momentum and it creates a really clunky pacing. Yes, we have vehicles. Yes, we have these launch pads, but even still, the mere act of going across the map, activating this anomaly, going to the next map, going all the way across the map to the new objective, completing the objective, going all the way across the map, doing that over and over and over again, you don't have that momentum that you can have. But luckily, because this is DMZ with zombies, your contracts are really close together. You can chain together. Oh, there's a stronghold here. There's an outpost here. I'm going to pick up this contract. I'm going to go do this thing. Okay, here's this mission I have to do. Everything is one map. And the one map, this big Warzone map, is so cool because you don't have to spend your time transporting to another map and transporting to another area where you have to then continue walking and moving forward. Now you also have Warzone vehicles as well, which work very well, but also you have the new Wonder Weapon, which is awesome because you can basically, it's like a redeploy balloon from Warzone where you just alternate fire, launch yourself into the air, and then you can parachute down to wherever you need to go. And it looks like there's more zip lines on the map. It looks like this map's a little bit more connected so you can keep your momentum flowing. So looking at this mode, like in Outbreak 2.0, it seems like it might retain the fun of Outbreak, but also fix or alleviate at least some of the negatives of Outbreak as well, which, in my opinion, is pretty exciting. But this isn't Outbreak 2.0. This is more or less DMZ Zombies. It's an entirely different gameplay model. So what did we like about DMZ? As weird as it sounds, simply, I like the gameplay loop of DMZ. I love what extracting means for your progress. Progressing your character in-game with your in-game progression, doing these challenges, making money, and completing contracts means something externally. You can exfil and extract, and you as your own player character is stronger and better because of it. But it's not just like Ethereum crystals like in Cold War. You can lose your progress too. It's not an XP bar that you just keep getting more and more strong or stronger and stronger and stronger. Rather, it's a gamble. It's a how much are you going to go in with? Okay, you could lose all of it. That sort of gamble, that sort of constant flow of, oh my goodness, I lost this tier 3 vest. Oh my goodness, I got this $5,000 thing, or $5,000, not that much. But yeah, I've got these keys. I've got these cards to strongholds. Okay, cool. I got to dead drop these. Oh no, I died. I got to get more keys. And it's the ebb and flow where the progress isn't permanent. It's a strength and a skill of retaining that. Plus, DMZ did so much good post-launch. DMZ at launch, not very addicting. There wasn't a lot of external progression. After they added the wallet and provided more weapon crates and different maps and different reasons to keep playing the game, you can extract weapons, you can extract money and keep it in your wallet. You can have more guns that you go in insured slots. There is so much to work on the external part of DMZ that translating over to zombies would just be so beautiful. The internal progression with the gameplay matters in your external progression, and it's a constant feedback loop that is so genius. And that's exactly the model they're using for Modern Warfare Zombies, so that's pretty darn cool. And what did I not like about DMZ? Well, this one's pretty simple. My biggest, hugest complaint was the PvP. I know, I'm one of those people, absolutely. I think this could have worked so well as a PvE mode, and the PvP just adds way too much malicious intent behind this game mode. It feels like it's just a killjoy when you get killed in here. And the reason that I've always said, and I'll give you an example, you're watching gameplay behind you. I went on some missions here, some contracts, tried to do some missions here, tried to play some DMZ, and I was like, you know what, it's getting close to the end, so I'm going to exfil. I'm happy with my progress. I'm going to get out of here. So I call in the exfil helicopter, and oh my goodness, I'm getting sniped at. And okay, well, I'm just going to throw smoke and try to get in here. And then another person comes and tries to directly attack me. And my only thought process with this, being the noob that I am in DMZ, is what would be the point of killing me at that moment? I'm about to leave the game. What do you gain by killing me? It doesn't really make any sense to me. I don't like it. It's the main number one reason I don't play DMZ all day, every day. And in zombies, or in Modern Warfare Zombies, there's no PvP. So it just feels like just that alone is enough for me to get really excited about this game. But even more so than that, the base gameplay of DMZ is with AI soldiers. Now that's not necessarily boring or bad or anything, but Zombies is just a lot more fun for me to kill. You know, killing AI bots is all right, but it feels like the campaign. It feels like playing bots against multiplayer. It's good for weapon XP, which I hear Modern Warfare Zombies is also good for weapon XP. But anyway, playing against zombies, that hoarding, the training, the balancing your boss zombies, that is much more intellectually engaging to me. And no PvP on DMZ, plus you're adding in zombies, which I really like to interact with. That's pretty cool. That's a big upgrade from DMZ, if you ask me. And finally, the last thing I'm kind of not a big fan of in DMZ is some of the missions, some of the quests that you got to do, they seem a little bit tedious. Like exfilling with 12 computer GPU, or I think it's 10 GPUs. So you have to go in the world and find these GPUs. And just that in and of itself, there's a lot of missions like that, and that's okay, that's good and fine and whatever, but it just feels a little tedious, and it feels like that's not the gameplay that I want to interact with. You know, I'd much rather it, hey, go in and kill this amount of enemies in this location, or go use this gun on this enemy, go to here, kill this enemy. So I hope it's more gameplay focused rather than just like, go find this cotton swab in this really weird area of the map and then exfil that 20 times. But that is kind of personal preference, because I know there's some missions that I find boring that someone else is like, oh my goodness, this is great. And there's some things that I'm like, hey, I really like this objective. And someone else is like, oh my goodness, this is really boring. So that's just a weird thing about DMZ. But that's it, Donuts. You're just a shill. You're being way too positive right now. What are you worried about in this mode? Are you worried about anything? Are you just happy-go-lucky Donuts? Oh my goodness, is going to be great. No, there's a lot of things. There's a long list. There's the biggest portion of this podcast of me talking about what I'm worried about this mode, because I'm worried about quite a bit. First and foremost, the number one thing, like I said, I would prefer not to have Modern Warfare Zombies. I'd prefer not to have Vanguard. I am worried that this is taking crucial development time away from 2024. Yes, they've had 4 years of development with 2024 when it releases. Is that enough time? Absolutely. Maybe, because if we remember in Vanguard, they switched to the Modern Warfare engine, which they didn't have anything coded for the Modern Warfare engine. This was confirmed in Treyarch in a blog post by Treyarch saying, hey, we had to make wall buys, we had to make doors again, we had to recreate the zombie AI from scratch. They didn't go into that specifics, but they said they had to recreate basically everything from the ground up to match the Infinity Ward game engine. So will that set them back? Will they use that first year just to get all of that scripting down and not work on any maps? I don't know. I'm worried that this is taking development time away from 2024. And I'm also worried that if they make a round-based map, that's going to take development time away from 2024. I'm worried about anything that's zombies that's not 2024 at this point. But we're taking it for what it is. But that's one of my biggest concerns about all things zombies for the past like 3 years. In terms of the actual game, though, I'm mostly worried about the solo difficulty. This could be the #1 turnoff for me in this mode. If the solo difficulty is too high and it's too challenging and too tedious to go in here solo, that's going to turn off a lot of players, myself included, probably, because pairing up with different friends or 3 different people or randoms on matchmaking is just so annoying. Because if they want us to work together and they want us to, if it's designed around co-op, then you go in with your quests and your faction missions you have to do. But if your teammates don't want to do that, well, then you're stuck following them around doing what they want to do. And this thing that they really hyped up at the COD Next event, this player freedom, you get to pick what missions you want to do, go to the tier of stuff you want to do. If I want to go to tier 3 and fight the big boss with my friends, and I get match made with people who just want to go around the outside and get the tier or threat level 1 stuff and get geared up, then there's no way of me communicating that before game. There's no way of me saying, hey, this run, I want to do this. No, we're just thrown into a game and, oh, you want to go do this big boss run. You just want to get geared up and you just have this one specific quest that you need to do. Okay, well, we're going 3 different directions. We're not helping each other out and we're basically playing solo anyway. And if the game world is balanced around solo, then that's just a bad experience no matter how you play with solo or co-op. And the big question I have with this is, why is it so difficult solo? Like Outbreak, you could play it cooperatively and it's an open world game, but why is it more difficult solo? In DMZ, in my opinion, isn't difficult solo because of the bots, because of the AI, even though they buffed them recently and my goodness, they will attack you. But it's difficult because of other players. When you come up to other squads of 4 or 5 in the past 6 players, that's why it was difficult on solo. But in DMZ solo, like, it might be a little slower, but it's not more challenging, in my opinion. I haven't done a lot of the side quests and contracts, so I guess that's probably a bit of it. But what makes it solo, and can we change that for solo players? And by that, I mean, Warzone has like quads, trios, duos, and solos, right? So maybe DMZ or Modern Warfare Zombies has something similar to where if you load in solo, you have other solo players on the server with you, and maybe you can or can't join their teams, whatever. But the bosses or the AI or the difficulty levels or the health of the enemies, maybe that gets tuned down a little bit because it's a solo server. And maybe, like I said, maybe you can't like pair up with other players because that would be too overpowered and whatnot. Maybe it's just forced solo, but the enemies are a little bit easier. That's one of those things that we really can't convey in a video, in gameplay. We really have to experience for ourselves, find the different strategies, find the different things that'll make solo play a little bit easier to do, because people do play DMZ solo and it's really not that big of a deal. And on the other side of the coin, we've been, asking and ranting about how easy Cold War Zombies is, and having something that gives a little bit of difficulty might be pretty cool. If it's fair difficulty. If it's unfair difficulty, if it's just tedious, probably not going to be cool, but could go either way. As an extension of that, I am worried about this big boss at the end of the game, apparently. Apparently that giant worm is just the big boss at the end of the exfil after that hour's passed. It's that big thing that everybody in the server needs to go and fight. Now, if you've played Shangri-La in the past, people do not coordinate whatsoever. So even if you manage to get a team of 3 people together, there's no guarantee that all of the people in the server are going to be going after that one giant worm at the end of the game. So that worries me, that if that's like the quest, if that's the main skill thing that you do in this map, and you have to have other people for that, then a lot of people, not just solo players, but a lot of people aren't going to have that experience. And that is pretty scary. There is a huge audience for solo players, not just in zombies, but in multiplayer and DMZ. Everywhere you go, people are playing a solo experience, and that's okay. I don't think they should be punished. I think it's possible to reward cooperative play, but still not punish solo play. I'm a little less worried about this, but I'm still worried about AI soldiers. AI soldiers, just with zombies, I still feel like they could get overwhelming. I still feel like, especially now, I've recently played DMZ, and those AI soldiers just shoot you from a mile away and they got you locked on. I need to run a suppressor on my weapon, I guess, in DMZ. But having that mixed with zombies kind of training around you and hitting you and all that stuff, I could see that being a little bit oppressive. So I absolutely love the fact. I think it's amazing that they get to interact with the zombies in the way that they do. That you could throw a monkey bomb over there, that the zombies do not hold precedent, or you do not hold precedence to the zombies over the AI. Zombies will go after any human, at least from the footage. That's what it looked like. It looked like they were equally going after the AI soldiers as well as you and your own squad. So I think that's an amazing interaction. I absolutely love that, but we'll see how that plays out. I still am reserving the right to absolutely hate the AI soldiers, but luckily, maybe we've seen them tune AI soldiers in DMZ, both too much in one direction and then the other direction of being too easy and then too difficult. But I hold out hope that they can tweak those AI soldiers, or at least decrease even their spawn rate as we get to playing the game. I'm still a little worried about the zombie AI. There's a couple things in that trailer, in that gameplay, where they just look janky and weird, and in Vanguard they were janky and weird. Now, luckily, a zombie developer, I think he's a coder, I think he makes the AI, I think he made the AI for ORDA, which is awesome. He said, hey, I ain't gonna have Vanguard's AI in Modern Warfare Zombies or in their next game or whatever. So that gives me hope, but I'm still, from what I've seen, that looks a little janky and that looks a little weird. Like I said, I'm worried about the tediousness. I'm worried about those quests, contracts, faction missions being really repetitive and kind of boring and not really exciting from a gameplay perspective. I love the gameplay, the spectacle, the killing this and going and doing that. Not a big fan of the loot this fruit basket off the ground and collect 12 apples and then woo, you've got something. Like, it's just not something that I find super engaging, and I feel like that's kind of littered throughout DMZ, and that's kind of not my thing. And then once those faction missions are done, I think they've reset it a couple times in DMZ, but once you're done with all of your faction missions, which is very possible and it's gonna happen eventually, what's the replay value after that? And that's something that's really interesting, because you could go back and you could play Infinite Warfare, you could play Black Ops 4, I guess Infinite Warfare 2, Black Ops 3, Cold War, and the replayability is within the gameplay itself, and it's within the map itself. But with DMZ, going back years later, if you've done everything, that's like a whole core of the mode that you just can't interact with anymore. So is there going to be a way where we can reset those missions, or maybe rank up or prestige those missions? Maybe they have a prestige once you've done them all. You could do them again, but they're a little bit harder, more challenging, or you just have to do it more times, kill more enemies, extract with more stuff. That might be a little bit tedious, but that could go on indefinitely. So that way there's always that aspect of replayability. That's something that I don't think a lot of people are talking about in DMZ, but coming this year, next year, hey, I'm done with all my faction missions. There's nothing else to do. Can we have more faction missions, please? Or is there a way that we could get those back? It's something to talk about. It's something to keep in mind here. And a lot of people, and sort of myself included, were very put off about the Cold War assets. I was very put off at first. I was like, oh my goodness, a Mimic? We're getting a Mimic again? Oh my goodness, oh, we're getting a Mangler, we're getting Abomination again. This is so lazy. Like, why do we have all these old zombies and old bosses? Why can't we get new ones? And yes, I feel that way. It's a new experience. It should be new. I am your #1 person, especially in zombies, who's like, screw the reuse stuff, screw the old stuff, screw the remasters and the Zombies Chronicles 2. I'm done with it. I'm over it. I want new content, especially after Cold War, especially after Black Ops 4 Aether maps. I want new. I want Ancient Evil 2. I want, well, not like remastered. I want the next story. You know, I want the Library of Alexandria. I want to see what's new and to see what's next. I've played against Hellhounds before. I don't want to play against Hellhounds anymore. It's boring. So what's new? What's this new boss? So I'm #1 person for that. But in the grand scheme of things, when I'm looking at this mode, I'm kind of happy that they're sticking with Cold War assets because they're saving, okay, this is copium. This might be copium. This might be hope. I hope they're saving the new things for COD 2024. That's the most logical explanation. That is exactly what I would do if I was in their situation, and I hope that is what they're doing. I hope they're saving all the new bosses, all the new enemies for 2024, and they don't want to spoil those enemies. Could you imagine when Outbreak launched, we saw the Krasny Soldat, we saw the Tempest, and I guess we didn't see the Abomination or the Disciple. Could you imagine Modern Warfare Zombies has all of the 2024 boss zombies, and then 2024 releases, it's round-based content, it's brand new maps, but oh, it's just the bosses from Outbreak or the bosses from Modern Warfare Zombies last year. Well, that's what we were working on, and it was new at the time, but now it's not new anymore. They're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Do they develop something completely independent for this mode only with a short development time and they're not really doing it? Or do they recreate old stuff that kind of matches that Cold War story, but it's not too developmental heavy because they already know how those bosses work and all that stuff? So it's not great. I'm not super happy about it, but I'm not super upset about it either. But also, this kind of goes to show you what they could do with this mode, because we haven't seen the Krasny Soldat, we haven't seen the Megaton, and we haven't seen the red one that explodes in Mauer Daytona. I forgot what that's called. And we haven't seen Tempests either. So how cool would it be as the seasons progress? We're progressing through this story mode, and oh my goodness, now we have this new thing, this Krasny Soldat, and it's completely, well, not completely different, but it's a little bit Modern Warfare-ified. And then we have these, dang it, what are they called? The Tempests, and we uncovered them in a story mode, and they keep adding these things, like they add in the wonder weapons and all that stuff. But might be cool for me, what might be cool for me, what might not be cool for anybody else, what I would really like to see is then another season, another map, maybe they have a new map, and then here, oh my goodness, this is a World War II thing. Oh my goodness, look at these artifacts. Oh, these are demons. And then all of a sudden, at the very end of the big cutscene or whatever, Zabala the Deceiver comes back, or Cortifex, or the Stormkrieger, or the little bomb guys from Vanguard Zombies, kind of showing that history of, oh my goodness, these guys are still a part of the same story. And you can have a whole narrative around, you know, what happened with the demons in the Dark Aether, and then you have what happened in Cold War and all of those people. And then at the end of the year, in Season 6, kind of like what they're doing right now with the Halloween event, you have a special Halloween event, and that teases maybe that's where you have your first brand new boss zombie from 2024 Zombies. 2024 Zombies would only be like a month away, you know, it's like Season 6 Reloaded or something, and that's the precursor. That's the first starting ramp up to the new round-based content. We've caught up with all of the history that's gone on with World War II and all of this Cold War stuff, and now we're going on to the new things, and it lines up perfectly with 2024. That would be what I would do. That would be what I would do if I was in their position. Probably not going to happen, but that's just the rabbit hole that I went down. That's what I would love to see. Also curious though, this could be either way. I don't know if they're going to do this or not, but along with reusing the bosses from Cold War Zombies, they're reusing the mechanics from Cold War Zombies, which really could be really cool or really bad. It's good because Cold War mechanics are good, but I feel like there's a lot of progression you could do with Cold War's mechanics. I think there's still some things you needed to do better with that progression. I don't think it was as tight as it needed to be. So having it here is either one of two things. One, it's exactly what I said. They're keeping 2024, and you're not going to take a peek and see what the mechanics are. You're not going to take a peek and see what the bosses are. It's completely new. We're just giving you Cold War, like an extension of Cold War. This feels like a Cold War Outbreak sequel to me, honestly, but that might be what they're doing. Or it could mean that, yes, we're just going to keep the colder mechanics in this next game. And that would be pretty underwhelming if you ask me. Especially because I've just fallen in love with the idea of the Altar of Covenants, because I think as a Black Ops 4 perk system, just in the Altar of Covenants would be so perfect and so much replayability. I miss the Altar of Covenants. Maybe they could add it in to this mode eventually. Ah, dang it. See, this is what I'm talking about. But also something that's weird. There's no salvage. I mentioned this in my breakdown. There hasn't been any salvage, and I wonder if that's just something that they're getting away from. And I wonder if that's just like a simplification. Like they thought, oh, salvage was a little bit too messy, a little bit too hard to code with all the stuff on the ground and all the interactions. And it makes sense. Like there's nothing truly lost when you get rid of salvage. If every armor piece and kill streak, lethal, tactical, if all of those just counted points, I actually might like that more thinking about it, because armor or salvage is randomly dropped by enemies, and it's given to you just straight up at the end of every 5 rounds, and it's very linear, and there's not much you could do to get more of it. But with points, you could go for headshots. You can avoid using certain weapons so you don't lose out on points, and that sort of is more within the player control, which I might like more. I don't know. It's weird. Again, we'll have to play it. We'll have to see how it goes. And something else that I'm worried about for a different reason than everyone else is worried about, is the time limit. I think everybody heard this time limit and thought, oh my goodness, it's like Shadows of Evil, but you only get to play for an hour. Like it's like a demo. That's not how it is. That's not how it is at all. Because if you've played DMZ, you know extracting your stuff is part of the gameplay loop. Getting out of there is just as important as progressing up within there. So having that pace, having that like go, 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 you got to get this before the storm hits you, is part of that gameplay. You can go right back in with the same amount of stuff you came out with and keep progressing there. But donuts, what's the point of that? Well, I think that's the question that Treyarch needs to answer. I think that's the point that they need to get across. What are we doing in there? What do we want to get accomplished within there? Because when I was playing DMZ the other day, doing it solo, I spent like half the time. DMZ is only 30 minutes. This is going to be 60 minutes, but DMZ is 30 minutes. And I spent like half the time just kind of getting to where I wanted to go. I had a very specific thing that I wanted to do, so I was ignoring everything else. I was trying to, get there quickly, but I didn't have a great way of doing that. I didn't take any vehicles and stuff, but all of that to say, I'm worried about how efficient we need to be in order to get our contracts completed. Is it going to be enough time when we're fighting that big abomination? How long is that going to take? If it's 45 minutes, we start that abomination with 10 minutes left. Are we going to fight him and it'll take like 2 or 3 minutes to fight him? It's kind of weird, but I'm hopeful, because as we saw in the gameplay stuff, as I mentioned in my video, that number appears to be very, very changeable. They were playing on like dev builds with like hundreds of minutes and thousands of minutes worth of time. So, and I think there was a comment I saw recently from a Treyarch developer on Reddit saying, hey, this is something we're paying attention to, this time limit. You could go into those sub areas that I looked at, that we mentioned on my video, saying, hey, you go in here and that just gives you another hour because it's a sub area. It's a different like server, probably a different map. So that's a different time limit. It's not going to pull you out at 60 minutes and go, hey, game's over. No, it's part of that gameplay loop. So it all depends on how fast-paced the game actually is. I know I said I hope that it's fast-paced. It looks like it's faster-paced, but even still, DMZ, Warzone, is not the fastest. It's not like round-based where it's like, here you go, you're going. It's not like Onslaught where the pacing is relentless. It's still slower-paced, even if it's faster than Outbreak, even if it's faster than DMZ, it's still probably going to be slower-paced than the regular round-based stuff. So that time limit is probably adjustable. I'm not super worried about it, but I am it could be annoying. I also don't like the HUD. That's just it. I just don't like the HUD, the Warzone, the Cold War, I'm just not a big fan of the HUDs lately in Zombies. I miss that immersion. I miss, and to be fair, the HUD's fine. The HUD's fine for Outbreak. I think not having a HUD in Outbreak or not having a TAC map in Outbreak. I actually played Outbreak Survival where you don't have a HUD. It was really cool. I really liked not having the minimap. I really liked just immersing myself. But not having the TAC map, not being able to plan out where I wanted to go on the map, was a big trade-off, and I didn't like that too much. So maybe if we had a toggle option for the minimap, that would be the best. Like everybody was saying, having the option would be great. And finally, I'm worried about the Gunsmith. I'm just, there's so much potential in the Gunsmith. That would be so cool to see how it changes gameplay and the gameplay 30-second, minute-to-minute stuff of Zombies. You could change your gun to get more XP, to get more points, to do more damage, but then to lessen your point gain. There's just so much stuff you can do with the Gunsmith. I don't care about slide speed. I don't care about ADS speed in Zombies. The only thing I care about is hipfire spread and damage. That's the only thing I care about. And reload speed, I guess. Those are the 3 things. And it just feels like it might be boring. I feel like there's so much potential there, but I don't think they're going to do it this game. Maybe for 2024, we'll see. So those are all the things that I'm worried about. So what am I looking forward to, and / what would I like to see from this mode? And I want to start this off with a story and some kind of proof of concept here, because a lot of people are saying, you know, who asked for this mode? DMZ players won't like it because of this, Zombies players won't like it because of that, and that's definitely a very real possibility. But at least for me personally, I have an anecdote saying the opposite. So when DMZ came out, I was playing it, I played it a couple times, and I used this application called Asana to organize all of my videos and my tasks that I need to do throughout all of my YouTube stuff. And that's where I put my video ideas, and hey, I'm going to get this video at this time, it's going to have all of this and that in it. It's just an organizational thing. So when DMZ was released, I played it for a good couple days, and I was like, hey, I like this, I like that. And then I created a project, as you're going to see here in Asana, called Outbreak 2.0 with DMZ. And as you can see, I created this task on November 21st, 2022. Now, if me, some nobody YouTuber, can play DMZ and go, hey, you know what'd be excellent with this? Zombies. If I can make that connection, the big guys who are actually making those decisions can make the same decision and make the same connection. This is not an uncommon thought. So many people thought DMZ would be great as a PvE mode. So many people to this day complain about the PvP, myself included. So many people think that zombies would be perfect in this open world environment. So many people love Outbreak and what it means, but they hate the pacing, or they don't like this, or they don't like that. So combining these two things that complement each other so well is cool, is a great idea. And the potential for this mode, as you hopefully have seen by now, is insane. DMZ, in my opinion, is the perfect outline for an Outbreak 2.0. You can have so much content, brand new side quests, side Easter eggs, even different points of interest within the map itself. Outbreak launched with like 4 maps and no main quest. It now has like 8 maps with extra, like double the amount of side quests, and 2 whole main Easter egg quests, one of which is one of the most popular ones in modern zombies with Legion and that boss fight. There's so many things that you could do in DMZ and Outbreak, and just there's so much potential there. I'm not saying it's gonna be there. I'm not gonna say, hey, this is gonna be the best thing ever for zombies, but the potential for it is so high. I'm in love, and I really hope we can do this, because this would be awesome. I hope when we exfil our weapons, they retain their pack-a-punch and their ammo mods. Because could you imagine trying to grind for every single weapon, the 100+ weapons that are gonna be in this mode, because it's Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, grinding all of them to pack-a-punch tier 3 with an ammo mod, and then exfilling with them and having all of those weapons in your armory, or in your armory, or in your warehouse, or whatever they're gonna call it. And that way you can infill with any one of those weapons fully pack-a-punched. Or you have tons and tons of perks and tons of ray guns stockpiled and wonder weapons stockpiled and all of these things, and you can customize how you go back in. That hoarding and stockpiling of goodies is amazing. It's why I love Minecraft. It's why we love camo grinding. It's that sort of addicted, okay, I've got this next thing, I've got this next thing. It's, there's so much cool grinding stuff that we can. It'd be like, I've said this in a comment, I believe. It's like going into Black Ops 3 Zombies, but you have to find the gobblegums, and then you exit the game with the gobblegums, but you can only use the gobblegums that you've found. So you have to find them before you use them. I don't know, does that metaphor work? Does that make sense? Like, I don't know. I just feel like, and then you could stockpile. You can stockpile all of your gobblegums. Oh my goodness, I found 50 perkaholics. I'm going to go find more. You know, it's just that gameplay loop of that hoarding and that grinding that I think is really interesting to me. Now, I think there's going to be limits to how many weapons you can have, because that's what DMZ has. DMZ has a limit of how many weapons you can have and how much you can keep in your stash, how many keys and whatnot you can keep in there. So I bet you it's going to be limited to like 20 or something sad. But, you know, even still, I like the idea, and hopefully if we like that aspect enough, we can talk to them, hey, maybe give us some more weapon slots, maybe give us some more stash slots and spots. You know, that'd be pretty cool. In terms of more tangible things that I do like about the mode, the wonder weapon looks insane. Like, I love how it looks like a perfect Modern Warfare type of, you know, militarized weapon, but then you got that Cold War purple Ethereum in it, and then you can launch yourself up, and just, I think it's the perfect wonder weapon that we would have never ever gotten in any other mode, and it complements this mode so well. And it's another version of the Thunder Gun. It's another version of the, you know, whatever you shoot it and everyone dies and whatever, and that's perfectly fine. But the utility of it, it's great. It looks like it's going to be great. I imagine it's going to be great. I like the idea of it. I haven't played it yet. I don't know how good it actually is. I love the idea of the camo grind here. I've been a big fan. I've been camo grinding quite a bit lately, and even in Vanguard, once round-based came out, Vanguard really picked up for me in terms of grinding that weapon camo. But now we have 100+ weapons from Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 all with a zombie-specific camo grind. I believe they were actually leaked or found or from the emblems or whatever. We can kind of get a view of what these camos are going to be, and they don't look half bad. Obviously, it's like a really distorted picture because it's so small, but I don't know. Camo grind is a big W. I also believe I heard through the Reddit or something that they were working on the AI for ORDA. And this is just, I mean, you guys know, I'm a big sucker for ORDA. I love ORDA. I think that's great. It's one of my first things that I said that they should do in Outbreak. And then when they did it, I got a big old smile on my face. The only problem with that would be the denseness of Modern Warfare's Warzone maps. I don't know how you get ORDA around that. I don't know how you get him around the buildings and stuff. How big is he and whatnot? We have the giant worm, but he seems stationary. So who knows? But that also brings up the fact that I love the Warzone maps. Maybe it's because I don't play Warzone. Maybe it's because I don't like the Battle Royale game mode genre. But these maps, being in these maps feels so immersive, feels so cool. Like whoever designed these maps, whoever artists or designers put these together, it feels like they built an actual city, and it's really cool to be in. In my opinion, it's far better than the Outbreak maps. It's far better from the Blackout maps because those maps felt so barren. They felt so broad and open. Like I've said this before, but in Outbreak, it feels like there's a cluster of buildings and then a wide open space. And then maybe another cluster of buildings here kind of spread out, but then just another wide open space. But in Warzone, it feels like all of those maps have like zero wasted space whatsoever. It feels like there's a road with a pathway with a building, and that leads to this, and that leads to this road, and it feels purposefully built. It feels like designed like humans would design things. And I think there's so much thought process that goes into those maps that I really appreciate it. Something I don't appreciate, however, is skill-based matchmaking, or whatever they're using in 6v6 currently. But speaking of skill-based matchmaking, I've said this since Cold War, skill-based matchmaking could be awesome for DMZ or for Modern Warfare Zombies, and also for DMZ too, because then you get zombie players who are at your same skill level. If you go into a public match of even Cold War, there are players who do not understand the basics of zombies, and it kind of ruins your experience. And especially with a co-op heavy mode like Modern Warfare Zombies, having skill-based matchmaking, having players equal or similar to your skill level will be crucial. And I think this could be perfect for this mode. I'm excited for kill streaks to return. The Juggernaut was so cool to see. Chopper gunners, I'm also thinking chopper gunners, AC-130s would be so sick to have on these big open maps. You're fighting this abomination. All right, I'm in my AC-130 and you're just shooting it down. Oh, that would be so cool. And then flamethrower, death machine, all the classic kill streak stuff could be really awesome. There's so many things to talk about. There's so many things that this game mode could be. We need to ask both ourselves, and I'm going to ask you a very important question here. And this is something that isn't spoken about a lot, but what does this mode, what does Modern Warfare Zombies need to do to be successful? And before you comment, no, the answer is not round-based modes. That's not the question that I'm asking. I'm not asking how does the game of Modern Warfare 3 do better with zombies. Oh my goodness, of course, round-based modes. It's the next best thing, you know, get high rounds, get main Easter egg quests, get characters back in there. That's not what this is. What does this mode, what does this DMZ Zombies need to do to be fun and successful and be a good positive thing for the zombies community? If this is the worst thing to ever happen to zombies, how does this game mode with these mechanics change so that it is a positive thing that's still not round based? Because if anything that's not round based is just the worst thing for the mode, then I don't think the developers can take that criticism seriously. How does zombies be successful, not round-based? How does this open world DMZ extraction mode zombies be fun and be a positive thing for you and for the community? If the answer is that it can't just because it's round-based, then I don't think this mode is gonna be for you ever. So for me, it has to basically alleviate my worries. Not all of them, because there's always gonna be little details that could be better, but the main ones. For me, this needs to be solo friendly in some sort of way. Whatever they do to make that happen, solo players need to experience everything they can by themselves here in order for this to be a really successful mode. The core gameplay of the world needs to be good. Being in the world itself, fighting with the enemies, has to be top notch. I do think there needs to be an Outbreak level of main quest Easter egg where you do this thing, solve this puzzle, and go to this place and fight this big boss for this big main quest. Now, there's been a lot of confusion, a lot of people saying, hey, there's no main quest, but then there's this big exfil boss fight, and then there's these story quests. So you get into that philosophy of what really is a main quest in zombies. It's a big thing, it's a puzzle where you fight a big boss and you get storyline stuff. Well, it looks like we're gonna get a big boss and fight storyline stuff. So the only thing that's missing is like the Easter eggy type puzzle solving aspect of it. And if that's the only thing we're missing, I'm not going to be too disappointed because you still have the big boss and the narrative there, but that's neither here nor there. It's another topic for another day. I think there needs to be replayable missions and fun progression. Like I said, we can't just have all of our missions be completed and have no incentive to play the game anymore. They need to retain that fun spectacle of the ORDA boss fight and the rockets going off, which it looks like they kind of have here with the different side quests and the big abomination and the, big worm at the end, obviously. And of course, this needs constant updates. They can't just forget about this. I want more modes, I want more maps, I want more bosses, I want more side quests and factions and all of these different things. I want more of it. There's so much potential, they need to capitalize on it. And for a lot of people, the story needs to be somewhat decent and intentional. I'm not a big story guy, even before Cold War, even before whatever, when I was first learning zombies, the story wasn't that important for me, so it's not a deal breaker for me. But for a lot of people, not having characters the past couple of years has been a big problem, so having a good, impactful story is key for a lot of people. If this is the best mode that it can possibly be, what does that look like for you? Believe me, I'm not super positive about this game mode. There are a lot of reservations that I have with it. Even at the peak of this game mode, even with all the things that I said, even if all of those come true, I know I would still prefer the traditional round-based experience with those main quests and those gameplay and pack-a-punch things. I know for a fact I would still appreciate those maps more because that's just the bread and butter of zombies to me. But even if that's the bread and butter of zombies for me, I know in my heart that zombies can be more than just round-based. We can have Onslaught and Outbreak and Rush and Gauntlet and Turned and Grief and so on and so much more game modes and different little tangents to zombies and still have zombies and still those game modes be considered zombies. Like it or not, Outbreak is zombies. Modern Warfare Zombies, from everything we've seen, is zombies. Who are you? Who's to say? Who makes the decision that one thing is zombies and one thing isn't zombies? Beautiful people, really listen. We have Zombies in Spaceland, this wacky 80s with David Hasselhoff zombies in a theme park. And it's a top 5 map for people. People love Zombies in Spaceland. And then right after it, we have the Final Reich, this dark, gritty, horrific, terribly haunting zombie experience with Tesla guns and demonic creatures. And that's a top 5 map for a lot of zombie fans. A lot of people love that. Both of those things are zombies. Zombies is so much bigger than I think any zombie fan gives it credit for. It is a beautiful game mode that encapsulates so many different genres of a game. It's a first-person shooter that plays like, the Snake game mode, or the Snake game for how many times ago, and you got high rounds. It's a survival mode. It's a main quest Easter egg. It's a raid thing. Like, there are so many different genres of game that it touches. Why can't it be open world? Why can't it be a small, multiplayer map rush mode? Why, we got survival maps. We've got transit. We've got Black Ops 4's Easter eggs. There is so much to zombies. Why can't this be zombies too? And ultimately, nobody has played this game yet. I haven't played this game yet. I reserve the right. Believe it or not. I'm being, positive right now. I reserve the right to be like, oh my goodness, this is totally different than what I thought it was going to be. This is actually the worst parts of all the DMZ and the worst parts of all of Outbreak. I reserve the right to change my mind and be completely wrong here. But the fact is, nobody has played this game yet. We don't know how it's going to be. Yes, it feels like DMZ, and yes, we've had Outbreak, and we kind of guesstimate from there, but we've never seen those two together. We've never seen the gameplay of zombies with the progression and the motivation of DMZ. That's never, Outbreak didn't have that, DMZ didn't have that. It's two different things. We have two halves of it before, but we've never seen it put together before. I'm not saying this is going to revolutionize the mode. I'm not going to say this is the next best thing since sliced bread. And as I've said, if it were up to me, we would have never gotten Vanguard Zombies, and we would have never gotten Modern Warfare Zombies, and everything would have just waited till 2024. But knowing what I know from Outbreak, and knowing what I like from DMZ, and seeing what I saw in the trailer and the gameplay and the next event, I'm interested, and dare say it, I'm kind of excited to experience it. I still think round-based is going to be better, and I'll say this once again, I really hope 2024, Treyarch, 2 round-based maps at launch, 1 for every season. That's what I want. That would be my ideal schedule, whether that's 5 seasons, 6 seasons, 2 round-based maps at the start, plus season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 8 maps. I would love that. With 3 years, Treyarch was able to do 14 maps with Black Ops 3, the 6 base maps, as well as the 8 Zombies Chronicles remasters. With Black Ops 4, again, a 3-year development game, Black Ops 4 launched with 4 I wish we were back in those times. 4 zombie maps, and then had 4 DLC zombie maps as well. So 8 maps on a 3-year cycle, and those were like brand new, they were kind of remastered, but they were brand new zombie maps. It was fantastic. And now we've had 4 years since Cold War, and you know, obviously, you know, they had to go to a new engine, and there's working on Vanguard, working on Modern Warfare Zombies, but 4 years of development time, 2 maps on launch, at least 4 DLC maps to get to our base standard of 6, but I would love to see 5, 6 round-based maps in 2024. That would be awesome. And now we're put in an opportunity where we can continue to update Modern Warfare Zombies with the Call of Duty 2024 bosses and wonder weapons and narrative storyline and stuff, and we can update that alongside the round-based maps, which hopefully there's going to be, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them maybe. I would like, we could have our cake and eat it too. And then if we got Onslaught with all the multiplayer maps, like Zombified too, or just survival maps of the multiplayer maps, I really love Onslaught. I think Onslaught's great. If we had that in 2024 Zombies, like, oh, that'd be so cool. I know this is a really positive video about something that the community finds very, very negative, but I hope in talking about it, you understand that. I understand that there's a lot of things that could go really catastrophically wrong with this mode, but also recognize that there could be a lot of really fun moments to experience here with this mode as well. I don't like the gatekeeping that the Zombies community tends to do. If it's not round-based, then it's not Zombies. Back in Black Ops 3, ammo mods came out, and we were getting to high rounds with ammo mods, and all of the old high rounders were like, well, I had to train Zombies, and I had to get my wonder weapon back in the mystery box. You know, these aren't high rounds. And then Cold War comes out, these aren't real main quests, these aren't real Easter eggs, these are really easy and not good. You know, this isn't Zombies. And Black Ops 4 comes out, the perk system changed, this isn't Zombies. And that's just such a negative and close-minded mentality that I see so often in the Zombies community. And I really hope that on my channel, on my Discord, which got a little heated the other day, I hope we can keep an open mind and take things for what they are. And ultimately, if we don't like it, no one's forcing us to play this mode. I'm interested in Modern Warfare 3 Zombies, and saying that you're excited for a game that people play for fun, that is a positive experience in life, you shouldn't have to be defensive about that. You shouldn't have to be gate-capped out of having fun. It really does feel like a lot of people are looking at people interested in this mode and talking good about this mode and going, stop having fun, this is actually really bad, you should be more negative, you should be more like this. And that's just, it feels so toxic. We're getting into that Vanguard Black Ops 4 level of toxicity where we've lost the nuance, we've lost the specifics of talking about this specific thing, that specific thing. So I hope this podcast, I hope this channel does a good job of really remaining logical, having common sense, and talking about what we know and what could be both positive and negative. Is Modern Warfare Zombies going to be that bad? Maybe, but it also could be pretty fun. So let's do some self-reflection. Let's go back and watch the trailer, watch the gameplay, and come up with your own conclusions. You beautiful people have always been fantastic with conversations and really discussing the problems rather than getting personal and emotional about things. So I hope we can continue that on my channel here. That's what I want to see. I love discussion. I love nuanced conversation, and that's what I want to start here on the channel. So if you want to get caught up on almost everything we know about Modern Warfare 3 Zombies and the gameplay and the reveal, check out this video. I go over everything frame by frame. I do miss a couple things, but there is 99% of everything we know in this video. Check it out here and stay beautiful.